Yeah, I do believe I was ready, but it's getting back into the groove of things. You always have that, and that's kind of what this week was for, just to get us back into the groove. We come on Sunday, we get in the pads, and we're full go. Humphrey is a brick wall. No, no, I'm not laughing. Seriously, I said Creed. I think it was yesterday. We had a rep, and he was like running that outside zone play. I was trying to move with him, and I was like, damn, like mid rep, I'm like, damn, this dude he's a brick wall. He's solid, and he's a great athlete.
Coming out of the draft, one of my favorite players that the Chiefs had drafted was defensive tackle Omarr Norman-Lott out of Tennessee. And it was simply because he was the exact same player as, well, at least on tape when he's at Tennessee, as Treshaun Wharton. Like, he if you put their tapes side by side, they look very similar, very identical. So Veach knew that he had to go out in the draft and replace Wharton, and I think he got his twin, because the early indicators in training camp is that he's running with the starters. And if that ain't big time trust, like, because these reps are extremely limited. Like, some people will be like, why are people making a big deal out of the reps? It's just training camp, it's just practice. Well, as a rookie, you only have so many reps and so many times to show what you have. And all of these practices and these sessions, they're taped. So they look over these things. And it's not common for a rookie interior defensive lineman to get early starter reps in Chiefs camp, especially with this defensive line at all. So, of course, we know as Chiefs fans, Spags defense is notoriously complex. So, if they're throwing Norman-Lott in the live action with the ones, that says a lot about that young man and what he can offer. So, you just don't stumble into Chris Jones. You just don't do that unless you earned it. That's the only way. And Norman-Lott's earning it already. So, he can play 3-tech. He can play nose. He's versatile. Another thing that Treshaun Wharton brought to the table. He good against the run. He can rush the passer. All of that. So, the versatility in Spags hybrid pressure packages, because the Chiefs like to rotate the defensive line all the time. So sometimes you never know when you're going to come in, but you know that you always have to be on deck. But Norman-Lott is looking, not just as a regular football player, but like as a chess piece, not just a body. And that's what Spags is looking for, I feel like. So anything to help reduce Chris Jones' load. That's what, like, Chris Jones is going into, what's this, year 9 for him? Year 10? This year 10? This year 10 for Chris Jones. He was in the draft before Mahomes. Yeah, he was in the 16 draft. So year 10 for Chris Jones coming in. Anytime that we can reduce Chris Jones' load, or him dealing with double teams all the time, double team him now if you want. Of course, they're still going to do it because Chris Jones is that dominant. But when you got Norman-Lott on the other side, he's going to take advantage of his one-on-one. This might be the deepest and most balanced defensive line that this Chiefs team has had in the Andy Reid era. I'm just really excited to see what Spags is going to be able to do and what he's going to be able to call with the versatility of D lineman that he has, man. So, but like I said, he's so similar to Treshaun Wharton in so many ways: size, attitude, intensity, and hopefully playmaking ability. Because I was concerned when the Chiefs lost Wharton, I didn't know how they were going to fulfill his role. Because to me, Treshaun Wharton was, he was special in so many ways. Because his size, you would think that he wouldn't be able to really be effective on the interior defensive line, because he was like 6'2", under 300 pounds. But man, he was all muscle. If you ever looked at Treshaun Wharton, he was shaped like, and I'm not trying to be funny or rude or anything, but he was like, and this is in a complimentary way, but he was like shaped like kind of like a bowling ball in the most athletic football way possible. Okay, I mean, like, he was strong. He was a damn bulldog on the inside, and it was like every other play on defense, you will see Treshaun Wharton doing something. Either he would be pressuring the quarterback, he would be close to the quarterback, or he would be, making an effort play, or, rallying to the run. Like, I just always saw him around the ball. And I think that's more of the player that the Chiefs are looking for on their defensive line. Just all rabid, open mouth, slobber-filled mouth dogs. Just dirty, rotten, junkyard bulldogs that just attack the quarterback with relentless energy, intensity, and enthusiasm. And to me, Omarr Norman-Lott matches that. To me, he has all of those same capabilities plus more. So, man, super excited to see what Spags does with this defensive line, especially with the new number 55, Omarr Norman-Lott.